सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदिभ्या निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनः उरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावत् भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां योगीन्द्राणां त्वदङ्गेष्वधिकसुमधुरं मुक्तिभाजां निवासो भक्तानां कामवर्षद्युतरुकिसलयं नाथ ते पादमूलं नित्यं चित्तस्थितं मे पवनपुरपते कृष्णा कारुण्य सिंधो कृष्णा कारुण्य सिंधो हृत्वा निशेषतापान् प्रदिशतु परमानन्द सन्दोहलक्ष्मी
Gurupavanapure Hantabhagyam Janana. Namaskaram to all the Astikas. Here, Bhaṭṭatiri describes the particular incident where Krishna, along with the Yadavas, his wives, had arrived at Syamantapanchaka Kshetram. Incidentally, the Kauravas, namely the Dhartarashtras and the Pandavas, were also present with Draupadi. And then the Gopas had also arrived. It was looking like a big reunion. At that point in time, Krishna's alinganam with the Gopas, the Gopikas, and later with Radha is being described here. Ripujana kalahaihi punaha punarme samubhagatairiyati vilambana bhut iti krita parirambhane tvaidrak ativivasha khalu radhika nililye. Tvai krita parirambhane iti, you did embrace her, saying thus. Iyati vilambana abhut me, what did you embrace Radhika telling thus? Saying, iti vilambana abhut me, this delay has happened to me. Ripujana kalahaihi. Why? Because I was always engaged in some conflict and some battle and some war or the other with one of the enemies. Ripujana kalahaihi. It is not because I was reluctant, I was lethargic. Circumstances made me that way. Samubhagataihi punaf punaha. Again and again it seemed to happen. So I was not able to engage or meet with any of you. Radhika drak ati vivasha. At that point in time, Radhika ati vivasha, who was extremely overwhelmed. You may be wondering, in the previous Dashakams, earlier Dashakams as well, in Krishna stayed Gokulam and later at Vrindavanam, we have had a few shlokas where Radhika is mentioned. Here again, Bhaṭṭatiri says that Krishna had to convince Radhika and embraced her. There is no mention of Radhika in Bhagavatam. But Bhaṭṭatiri seems to borrow certain excerpts of Ramayana while describing Ramavataram. Certain excerpts of Radhika mentioned in some of the later Bhakti literature like Jayadeva's Gita Govindam, maybe some of the independent works that detail about Krishna and Radhika's story. He must have borrowed from Sampradayams, maybe like Vallabha Sampradayam, that talks about Krishna's Maitri Bhavam with Radhika. He must have borrowed because there is no mention of all of these in Bhagavatam. So Bhaṭṭatiri has essentially used Bhagavatam as the main ingredient, but he has also chosen certain incidents from the other Puranas. That is what it seems. So he says, Samubhagataihi Punah Punaha Radhikadrak Ativivasha. Radhika, who was extremely overwhelmed, Nililye Khalu, and who became completely absorbed in you. Apagata Viraha Vyatastadasta Rahasi Vidhaya Dadatha Tatvabodham Paramasukha Chidatmako Hamatma Ityudayatu Vaha Sputameva Chetasiti Tada Vidhaya Taha Rahasi. And then taking them in solitude, separately, Apagata Viraha Vyathaha, who were free from the pangs of separation, because they had that Virahatapam earlier, because they met Krishna, that Virahatapam had gone away. At that point in time, Krishna did not want this cycle to repeat. They were with Krishna, the Virahatapam would go away. They were without Krishna, the Virahatapam would come again. So what is the benefit of having been born during the times of Krishna? So Krishna wanted to bestow them with something like a adhyatmika knowledge. Tvam tadadhata taha Tattvabodham iti. You imparted to them the knowledge of the reality by telling them. By really telling them, Aham Atma iti. I am known as Brahman, the indweller of all living beings. Aham Atma iti. Paramasukha Chidatmakaha. Paramasukha Chidatmakaha, the embodiment of infinite bliss and supreme knowledge. So we say Sandrananda Vabodhatmakam Anupamitam Kaladeshava Dibhyam. We say, right? Similarly, Paramasukha Chidatmakaha. So he is the one of infinite bliss and supreme knowledge. Eva Udayatu Sputam. So let this knowledge dawn upon very clearly Vaha Chetasi in your hearts. So he wanted to instill this particular quintessential knowledge in the hearts of people. Evam Udayatu Sputam Vaha Chetasi. Let this knowledge come into the all of you. Sukharasa parimishtrito viyogaha kimapi pura bhavaduddhavopadeshaihi samabhavadamutaha parantutasam parama sukhaikyamayi bhavadvichinta pura uddhavopadeshaihi. If you remember, I think around Dashakam 78 or 79, we had discussed about Uddhava going as Krishna's representative to the place where the Gopas and the Gopikas stayed, and he was the recipient of the love, and he in turn imparted the message and the knowledge that Krishna wished to convey to the Gopikas. Pura Uddhavopadeshaihi. Uddhava did give Upadesham to all of them earlier. Viyogaha kim api abhavat. When they were feeling the pangs of separation, he did go and impart that knowledge. Sukharasa parimishtritaha. So there was a Virahatapam, then it was admixed with joy to Amutaha Param. But Krishna has met them again. Now he did not want them to undergo the same set of Virahatapam to Amutaha Param. Tasam Bhavadvichinta Samabhavat. So for them, the very thought of you, Sakshat Parabrahman, became Paramasukha Aikyamayim. So when you are the essential part of Bhagavan's Shariram, you feel that oneness with him. Though you don't become one, you feel that oneness because you sense that you are a part of Bhagavan's Shariram. So this Upadesham that had earlier to be given to the Gopikas and the Gopas by Uddhava, later repeated by Krishna, Paramasukha Aikyamayim. Then he continues, Munivara Nivahaistavatha Pitra Durita Shamaya Shubhani Prichamanehi Tvaisati Kimidam Shubhantaraihi Ityuruhasitairapi Yajitastada Atha Prichamanaihi Tava Pitra. Your dear father Krishna, known by the name Vasudeva, Prichamanehi, he did ask. What did he ask? Shubhani. What are those auspicious rites, samskaras that need to be performed? Durita Shamaya, for the atonement of all the papas done in the Iha Janma and in the Purva Janmas, for Sanchita Karma and the iha prarabdha karma, what needs to be done to get atoned, durita shamaya. Now, when he asked this to all the rishis, including Narada who were present, they all just gave a guffaw, they gave a smile, because for them, their thought was, when you have Sakshat Paramatma, Yesha Nārāyaṇa Śrīman, Kshirannabaniketanaha Nagaparyankamutsrijya Hyagato Madhuram Purim, Sakshat Manmatha, Sakshat Mangalana Mangalamyo, Sakshat Paramatma is your son. What prayashchittam should you do? That was their thought. But they should not bring down the excitement of a person who's ready to perform the karma. Durita shamaya uruhasitaihi api tada iti. Though they initially laughed, they said, Kim idam shubhantaraihi. What is the need of all the other prayashchittas, Vasudeva? Tvai sati, when you have Krishna as your son, they had to initially tell him the truth. Later, asau yajitaha. But Vasudeva had firmly made up in his mind, no, I wish to do some prayashchittartham. I wish to do a yagyam. Munivara nivahaihi. In the assembly of great sages, I wish to do the yagyam. When he insisted, then that yagyam was given as a particular atonement, as a prayashchittam to Vasudeva. Sumahati yajane vitayamane pramudita mitra jane sahaiva gopaha yadujana mahitas trimasamatram bhavadanushangarasam pureva bhejuhu. Sumahati yajane. When that very great yagya that was recommended by all the rishis, including Narada, Vitayamani was being performed, Pramudita Mitra Jani, and they were being attended. It was not done in some secrecy. All the friends and well-wishers of this family, of this clan had attended. Pramudita Mitra Jani, Gopaha, Sahayeva. Those Gopas along with the others, Yadujana Mahitaha, who were being honored by the Yadavas. The Yadavas had welcomed all of them because they were a part of the hosting family. So they had welcomed the rest of them. Yadujana Mahitaha. And those people who had come were being honored by the Yadavas. Bhejuhu Bhavad Anushanga Rasam. And the biggest pleasure for those attendees was they were able to enjoy the very pleasure of Krishna's presence and company in that Yagavatika. Because Krishna was very much present there. Though Vasudeva was doing it, it was Vasudeva, Krishna, who was present there. Bhejuhu Bhavadanusanga Rasam Pura Iva Trimasamatram. Trimasam. So it was a long yajna which was to be performed for over 3 months. Through Trimasamatram. So it was being performed. Vyapagama samaye samitya radham dridhamupaguhya nirikshya vitakhedam pramudita hridayaha puram prayataha pavanapureshwara pahimam gadebhyaha. Bhaṭṭatiri says, Hey Pavana Pureshwara, O Lord of Sri Guruvayur, Vyapagama Samaye Radham Sametya. At that time, finally the yagam had to get over. After the yagam was successfully completed, during their departure, Vyapagama Samaye, what did Krishna do? Radham Sametya. He approached Radha. I told you very clearly, Bhagavatam doesn't mention the presence of Radha. It may mention of Gopas and the Gopikas. But here Bhaṭṭatiri has forcibly brought in Radha because he had to honor the bhakti literature that came much after. So Radham Sametya, Gridham Upaguhya, tightly embracing her, Niriksha Vitakhedam, seeing her free from all the sorrow. Free from all the sorrow, Prayataha Puram Pramudita Hridayaha, and going to Dwaraka with a great delight. So after having given that Anubhavam to Radha, the Gopikas and the Gopas, having satisfied Vasudeva, his father, by getting the yajnam done and making his presence felt, Prayataha Puram, he went back to his Puram. Puram means to his city, pavilion, which is Dwaraka. Pramudita Hridayaha, with a very delighted heart, Tvam Pahimam Gadebhyaha. You ensured that your father was delighted. You ensured that the Gopas and the Gopikas were delighted. You ensured that the Dhartarashtras, the Pandus, Pandavas, especially Draupadi, was delighted. How long will it take for you, Krishna of Guruvayur, to remove my ailments? Tvam pahimam gadebhya. Please remove my ailments. Please Bhaṭṭatiri in this Dashakam.
कल्याणरूपाय कलौ जनानां कल्याणदात्रे करुणासुधाब्दे कंवादिदिव्यायुधसत्कराय वातालयाधीश नमो नमस्ते नारायण 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 नारायण